Hello and welcome back to Waz's Workshop. I have recently acquired this Craftsman table saw off of Facebook Marketplace, and in the time since I've had it, I ran into a bit of an issue with this belt guard. So there is a two-piece belt guard that goes onto this motor. So one end mounts to the motor, and then there was a cap of sorts that was on hinges that opened up so you can service the belt as needed. But due to an unfortunate accident when I was trying to maneuver this thing to fix up these casters, the belt cover bumped something and it broke off. It wasn't completely my fault because 3 of the 4 attachment points were already broken. So it was, waiting to happen. But I definitely put the final nail in the coffin there. So my thought was take it and draw it up, and we'll 3D print a new one. Maybe throw Craftsman logo on it and make it look professional as I can make it. Because keeping this covered, I think, is a good plan. So I've already removed what's left of the old one, and that is in the office ready for me to recreate. And then while I'm at it, I'm also going to replace the end caps on these rails. So this is the Craftsman aligner rip fence system that the previous owner had installed on here. So they've got just little end caps that were already broken as well. So 2 of them were fine, but the other 2 were broken. So I'm just gonna do those at the same time that I do this cover. So hopefully I can get that to turn out decent. I think I'm gonna print everything off in the Craftsman red, and maybe we can get the saw looking kind of sharp. So I'm going to hop over to the computer now and then run through the design process, and I will see you over there. Okay, we're back here at the computer now. This process took me a good couple hours, so this is sped way up, and I figured I'd do a voiceover instead because I don't think anyone wants to sit there watch me grinding through this slowly over the course of 2 hours. But I didn't have the face cam in here set up when I was doing this, so unfortunately I didn't get a chance to show you guys the original part, but this is me pretty much drawing it like for like. The base here, this is the side that clamps to the motor or mounts to the motor, used to be a little bit longer on one side, and you'll see why coming up, why that becomes an issue. But this was a relatively easy part to replicate. The mounting holes were a bit interesting because the actual hole themselves, the tangent of the circle met up with the tangent of the radius. So it was a weird feature for Fusion to try to calculate sometimes. So see me fighting with the radiuses and stuff here, and getting a position right was a bit of a challenge. But it wasn't too bad. Then you'll see me starting the second piece here. I just saved over the original and reversed the features because it's the same profile with the exception of the longer end. That was a pretty easy one to do. And then I added these 2 tabs so the cover side could nest in to the radius of the mount side, and this is just me replicating that. And then now I'm starting on my little push tab design that I'm using to mate the 2 pieces together. So this is one thing I've always kind of struggled with, was things like latches and snaps in modeling, because they always break. But there you'll see me start to do the text, and then I realized I didn't have the font I needed, so I paused and then went and downloaded it, and then I accidentally missed the part where I actually modeled the lettering. But you'll see me go back and look at this feature in a second. So right here I'm just test slicing to see how the feature turns out, and I didn't like the way it looked with the extruded cut being too deep, because it looked like it was putting red underneath, which might have just been support. But instead what I did was just change the extrusion to like 0.1 millimeters, which is negligible in the model, but when it comes to the slicer, it makes it way easier to select the face for painting, as you'll see me do there. And then this is me starting the end caps. Again, I wish I had the original to show you guys, because it is a pretty goofy shape. You'll see me sit here and struggle quite a bit to try to replicate it. I don't know why the aluminum extrusion profiles on that rail system are so complicated, but they are. I think I actually stopped mid-design here and printed some radius gauges to try to get a little bit more accuracy with my design here. But you see me slowly working through it, trying to get the relationships right and trying to get it to look right, and the angles and all the fun geometry here. I think this is where I stopped to make the radius gauge. And then I come back and start measuring those a little bit better. But it's a really weird shape of multiple radiuses meeting at a different radius, and all three of them were different dimensions, which was annoying. And then I kind of had to back up a few steps here and start redoing stuff. And then there's that third radius I was speaking of. Yeah, just finishing up with the mounting hole, which I had a little bit off originally, unfortunately. And then just a nice little radius to make it look a little bit better. And then this is me doing the other one, which was a little bit of a shorter process. It was a definitely simpler geometry, but when it's so small and so varied, it's kind of hard to find everything and try to estimate where radius centers are and that sort of thing. And it seemed every radius on this part was different, and then center points in a different spot, and it was just definitely a challenging one to figure out. This is one of those ones where you just print over and over and over again until you get it right, which I think I did on about the third try. But this was the original attempt. And then that's just me finishing with the mounting hole there, and then again putting on the little bit of radius just to make it look nicer. So here I'm in the slicer, and this is where I realized that the part's actually too big to print. So I had to go back and shorten it up a little bit, which I didn't show, but basically I just made it so the profiles were opposite of each other. And then here are the prints, and you'll see in the follow-up video how they turned out. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here with an update on the belt cover. So it's all printed, finished. I think it looks pretty nice. The lettering came out pretty good. It holds itself on when there's nothing going on with the little snap mechanism I made. But unfortunately, I fired the saw up to make a picture frame, and this belt cover just kept launching off every time the saw spun up. So my immediate fix for that was just putting a little screw in there. For me, that's a good enough fix. Yeah, I don't think it's worth reprinting this whole piece just to correct something that I fixed with a 1 cent screw. So for my version, I think it's gonna stay this way, but I will update the model because I think I'm gonna upload this to Maker World just so it's available in case someone else managed to break a ancient Craftsman table saw belt cover and wanted to make their own. So yeah, that's the update on that. Then I've also got these end caps. So these turned out pretty good. I'm a little high on the backside there, but that was because the actual original cap didn't fit this profile very well to begin with. So it's only like 1 millimeter high, which is good enough for me. So I'm gonna leave that one as is. And then this is how the other one turned off. This one turned out. This one's a little bit off on the profile as well, but everything else turned out pretty good. Again, the original piece didn't actually fit the profile very well either. So, I don't know. I mean, I think I recreated the part well enough, but if it wasn't right to begin with, then that's sort of the expected result. So, I will make, just like the belt cover, I'll make the tweaks to the final product, and then it's hopefully more accurate for anyone who might want to print off their own align or rip Craftsman fence system rail end caps for Lord knows how many people out there need to actually make their own. But it will be there if they do. So I hope you enjoyed watching this first video, and I'm sure there will be many more to come regarding this bandsaw. The next thing that I'm gonna want to work on is enclosing this guy, because at the bottom it's just a big open hole, and this thing spits out sawdust when you're doing any sort of actual work. So keep an eye out for that video coming up. It might tie into a larger dust collection project, because I'm spending as much time sweeping and vacuuming and controlling the dust in my measly garage here than I am actually doing woodwork. So there's a balance, because this is just a rental, so I can't do anything serious like put in a big dust collection system or any of that. But there is some things I can get clever with, I think, and definitely make my life easier. So again, thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for future videos. I will see you guys in the next one.